Hi there everyone, I'm just going to go straight into this. I'm going to do a astrology snapshot. My sister has given me a chart here and it's just basically, it's like reading her. You know, the people you're attracted to, and basically like reading yourself. So I'm going to go through it bit by bit, and it's going to be a 5-minute snapshot. It's not going to be in detail whatsoever. I even leave planets out. I'm just going to see if what I pick up, I have looked at this chart for about 5 minutes beforehand, has got any resemblance to the person whatsoever. So very quick. If you're very detailed, this will make you feel ill, so don't look. Right, let's get going. This person that I have been given has got a Scorpio Ascendant. So the way that this person comes across, the way that they present themselves, possibly how they dress, or maybe their facial structure, makes me think of somebody who likes to hide their feelings, who is quite quiet, who likes very in-depth conversations, and has quite what is normally an eagle-like look about them. A bit like Tom Cruise, where the eyebrows are very straight across, the nose could be thin and slightly hooked, they could be tall, but there's an air of darkness about them, about their face or about their stance. There's definitely an air of being very individual and being very reserved, but in a very strong way. If you go to their chart ruler, and Scorpio's here, if you go to their chart ruler, in the 7th house over here in Taurus is their Pluto, and their Pluto is conjunct the descendant. So I wonder whether this person is well known or has very passionate relationships with people. Not always positive, so it doesn't have to be just one-to-one relationships. It could be partnerships, as in like work relationships, where they could possibly be like in and out of court, or there's some sort of turbulence there. They will be very much marked by some sort of drama or some depth with regards to relationships. Also, conjunct stuck onto this Pluto, which rules their chart, is their moon, and their moon is in Taurus. Taurus moon is normally somebody who likes luxuries, who likes food, likes luxuries, very well known for basically raiding the cookie jar. And conjunct Pluto, these emotions are very deep. There's nothing surface level about the way that they feel for people. There's a very possessive air and a very fixed air. This person is possibly very stubborn and probably very, as I've just said, possessive over the people that come into their life. Or they could even pull people into their life that are very possessive over them. This is not somebody who likes grey relationships. It's definitely, is that right? Yeah, definitely black or white. It's all or nothing here. So their moon in Taurus, stubborn as a donkey, demanding, possessive, but very quiet with it. It's not somebody who says what they want immediately. They expect you to feel what they want. And if you don't, it can be quite difficult. Now, their moon conjunct Pluto in the 7th house makes me think of the guy who plays Poldark, is square Mercury in the 3rd, which is in Capricorn. So let's put Mercury in Capricorn down here. So that gives me a feeling that this person can very much use words as weapons. Somebody who's very good has a very good insight into what nips at people, and is very good at choosing the words to hurt when they want to. So this is something that I reckon this person has to really play with throughout their whole life. And this is conjunct their south node. So I think the fact that Mercury is in Aquarius, there's a really good understanding of fairness, but sometimes if they have their own self-interests at heart, this person can be a bit of a viper with regards to how they use their words. Mercury in Aquarius is somebody that comes across as very intellectual. So this person can cut, I think, if they need to. The sun is also in the 3rd house, and the south node is in the third house in Aquarius. This gives me a feeling that this person is probably recognised for their words that they choose. There's a teaching quality about this. Somebody who's quite intellectual and somebody who communicates very well. Somebody who thinks in some intelligent way. Didn't put that in a very intelligent way, but that's what it feels like. And their sun in Aquarius as well is, this is my sister, is detached, but not. Somebody that struggles with being detached and somebody that struggles with being obsessive and possessive. Somebody that likes their freedom, but somebody who likes to have very intense relationships and fixed all the way through. Stubborn as a dog with a bone. Right. Why have I got Uranus in my hand? This has got something to do. Okay. So their moon and their emotions and the way that they become, the way that they are nurtured and the way that they nurture everybody else is very demanding, very possessive, very intense, very dark, very all or nothing. But this is actually, a nice aspect up here to Uranus. So there is an element of, possibly that goes really well with their Aquarius down here, of not understanding the difference between possessing and giving freedom, but they do really. They may not be able to get it to work in their life in every way possible, but they understand it, and sometimes it peeks its head through. It's like, is it whack-a-mole? Very occasionally they are overtaken by wanting what they want and pulling people with them. But then there's this intellectual air, there's this understanding, this ability to communicate where they actually understand what they're doing. This person struggles with themselves with these two things, I think. And as I've said, the sun down here as well in Aquarius, a real ability to communicate. And see, this ability to communicate in Aquarius with that Pluto understanding is this person has an air of, this reminds me a bit of, I know it's not, but Jordan Peterson, somebody who reads a lot, knows a lot, understands a lot, and can put you down like that if they want to. Jordan Peterson, I don't think has that about him whatsoever. He doesn't have that feeling of wanting, I don't know actually, wanting to do that. This person has got really strong Pluto, so that could be like a burning, I don't know, something burning inside them to try and make sure that they let the other person know who's on top, and the ability to do it too. Mars is conjunct the MC up here, so I always like to see in the 9th house to say that this person could be an athlete or a boxer or just somebody who has a very forceful or very, what have I written down here? Athlete, boxer, fighter, somebody who performs, works with metal. I don't know what on earth I'm saying there. So this person in their career could be very well known for, I'd like to see the 9th house to say all those sort of athlete things, because it's the 10th house almost flips it a bit for me, and it shouldn't. But with Virgo, no, it's somebody who's direct. This is a very secretive person who's very intellectual, and then has this Leo MC, which could be a performer, and is very direct and open with their performance. And they've also got Jupiter and Neptune in the 5th house down here. So this is somebody who reveals themselves in love relationships, possibly reveals themselves to children. When life's fun, they reveal themselves, but not in general. But then you've got on the MC here a real sort of fiery outgoing. This could be a performer who has that ability to be quite in touch with people's, say, more illusionary side, that sort of like Hollywood feel, but a real sense of adventure and a sense of fun. But I think in one-to-one relationships, this person's very, oh my God, that frightened me, very fixed. That's my sister, I reckon. Right, I'm going to start finishing up now. Venus in the 2nd in Capricorn. Venus in Capricorn often likes older men, older women. I don't know whichever sex they prefer. It's trine Mars as an air of sexuality here, an air of attraction about them, and square Jupiter in the 5th. So that doesn't fall very well in with a 5th house Aries feel. This person, personal relationships are quite controlled. This person likes to look as if they works hard, I think, and likes. I'm trying to say this person would not like to be shown up in public. They like to look in control. They like to feel in control. But I don't know whether they let themselves loose when it comes to career, whether they come across as more aggressive, more outgoing, more fiery, more volatile, but in a personal relationships are going to be totally different, where there's an intensity there, but then there's an intellectual air about them where they could argue the back end of a donkey off. I'm going to call my sister now to find out exactly who it is. I'll just switch the camera off.
Hello.
Hiya. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello. Who is it? I'm trying to say your
How
name.
are you?
I'm fine,
Have you
thank
done
you.
the reading?
Yeah, I've done it. It just was like reading your chart.
How rude.
It was.
You wait till you hear who it was.
Is it-
Maybe taking back your words.
Is it Pol Pot, is it?
It's not Pol Pot, but it's not far off. No, I'm only joking.
Who is it?
Do you want me to just say who it is, and then do you go off and you research a bit about him?
Him. Okay, tell me who it is. Tell me what you know about them, and then I can possibly look at what I've just rambled on about.
Okay, so his name was Gregory Rasputin.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I like the way you say Gregory
Do you know a
Rasputin.
bit about...
I know who he is, yes. I do know that he was some sort of like vampiric Russian man who did a bit of witchcraft and was a bit sort of shaggable with regards to kings and queens. Is that right?
Yeah. So he was known as the Mad Monk.
Okay.
And he grew up in Siberia, and he was said to have prophetic abilities, and he went off into the forests of Siberia, and anyway, he was going to join the Russian Orthodox Church, but that wasn't to his liking, and so he ended up going down this almost cultish path.
Yeah, Aquarius.
With the idea being that to get closer to God, you need to commit sin. So he started all these sex cults and things like that. But anyway, he ended up sort of assisting the royal family at the time through the empress, because they had a young boy who had haemophilia.
Oh yeah.
And the, what do they call it? It was the Tsar and the Tsarina, I think it was called, wasn't it? The female.
Yeah.
She believed that he could heal her son. But in many ways, through her, he was influencing the whole political scene in Russia. And that quickly sort of led, you could sort of say he was a catalyst in some way to the fall of the royal family, the rise of the Bolsheviks, and then to communist Russia. He played a very important part, but in a very dark... Oh, there's so many fantastic little facts out there about him. But
I'll go find
that
some
was the
out.
gist of it.
I love that. I could say your name then. I love that because he's got his Scorpio Ascendant and his Pluto's almost exactly on his descendant conjunct his moon. So there's that darkness there, and that sort of... It's almost like magnetism, isn't it?
Yeah,
A hypnotic quality.
In a way... I felt a bit sorry for him, bear with me when I say this, because I was watching loads of videos and a lot of people thought he was the devil incarnate, but then when you see a Pluto conjunct moon on the descendant, you have to wonder how much people are projecting their own shadow onto him in some ways. Maybe that played in, I don't know.
I just said that about relationships. I didn't know whether he was the dark force in relationships or whether he pulled people towards him. But that I kind of saying that, but he's got quite... I said his third house to me felt full, although it's got the South Node in there, so it's something to do with the Aquarius Sun and the Aquarius Mercury, and that he speaks and people listen to him. So I did get that. I didn't think that I got that feeling that he could talk very well. He could get people under his influence if he wanted to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's the reason I brought him up actually is a fantastic series on Netflix at the moment. It's filmed like a film, but it's got a documentary element to it, and he would just talk, and like you said, people would just listen. They said his eyes were just hypnotizing, as if they'd see straight into your soul. He was able to grasp people and hold their attention like... Well, I can't even imagine. I don't think I've met anybody like that.
But me.
Apart from you, of course.
I say that. Do you know, I have actually, I think I had a mini obsession on him when I was young, and there's a film out with Tom Baker in that I watched, and because you had to rent them at the time, Tom Baker wasn't quite as sexy as you can imagine. He's like the old, let's say UFO, Doctor Who I meant. So yeah, I can remember actually, it's coming back to me now as you're saying it, but he's got Neptune and he's got Jupiter in his 5th house. He's got
interesting.
Which I wonder whether there's that playful air and whether that sexual bit with regards to the the royal family. But Mars is conjunct his MC as well, and that's in Leo, so that gave me a bit of flair, a bit more flair to it.
Yeah, and I think with the Pluto and the Mars, there's a very primal element to it, and I think sometimes when you bring Taurus into it, which is the physical body.
What was that, Cora, you said about Taurus?
What was that?
That thing you disturbed me that you told me about Taurus.
I'm not saying.
Yeah, best not to say that one. I'm trying not to say your name
Do
yet.
Do you know what I found really interesting when I saw his chart there? It reminded me a lot of Charles Manson's chart. Have you ever seen that?
No, I've not looked at that. I know you've talked quite a lot about him, but that's just the darkness and the intensity and the ability to hypnotise people.
Yeah, and it's that, again, that combination. I think Charles Manson was Scorpio Aquarius moon. And I'm not saying all Scorpios Aquarius moons are like this. In fact, I believe personally that many are lovely, being one myself. But it is funny that combination brings out that kind of cultish behaviour.
Oh yeah, I wonder where you got it from. I'm going to go now because this is going to be long. Thank you ever so. Oh, I just said your name. I'll do it. I'll edit it out.
I look forward to seeing your video.
I'll put Bert and Ernie in there. I'll say something else in your name. Before you go, do you want to tell everybody your website?
Yeah, it's astrologystudio.co.uk.
Well, lovely, and it's
Thank
very.
you very much.
All right, I'll see you soon.
Speak later.
Bye.
Bye.